If you've got a pain in the butt, then you might be wondering if your SI joint or your sacroiliac joint is the problem. But it's important to know, not wonder, because most people with SI joint problems are led down a long path of getting adjustments to try to correct the alignment of their pelvis, spending a fortune on orthotics or heel lifts to try to correct leg length problems, doing lots of bridges or stability exercises, and using all kinds of bands to try to strengthen and reset their pelvis in order to eliminate pain. The trouble is that many people are labeled with an SI joint problem without ever being physically tested or questioned enough to confirm if they actually fit the pattern of someone with SI joint pain. To begin, you have two SI joints, one on either side of the pelvis, and the SI joint is the junction of the joint between the sacrum, the bag of triangular bones that are fused at the base of the spine, and the ilium, or the pelvic bones on either side of the body. Hence the term sacro for sacrum, and iliac, I for ilium, SI joint. And for the sake of this video, we're going to start with the assumption that we are 100% confident that your buttock pain is caused by the SI joint, and we're going to work backwards. As we work through each of these 10 signs, every time you have one of these signs, the probability is going to drop. The confidence will drop that the SI joint is the cause of your symptoms. And by the end of this video, you'll have a much better idea of if your SI joint is to blame or if we should look elsewhere for the cause of your pain. Sign number one, if you are less than 50 years old, then the confidence that the SI joint is the cause of your pain goes down. Why? Because research consistently shows that people who are less than 50 years old are more likely to have disc problems as a cause of their pain in their back and the butt and the leg. Versus as we get older, say greater than 50 years old, we know that facet joint problems or joint problems in the lower back, including the SI joint, and just degenerative joint issues in general are more likely to be the cause. So if you're less than 50, confidence drops. Sign number two, central lower back pain. So if you have buttock pain and lower back pain, then this drops the confidence even further. Why? Because location of pain matters, and research consistently shows the SI joint does not cause central lower back pain, it causes one-sided lower back pain. And if you have central lower back pain here, marked in green, along with, or in addition to the buttock pain, then it's much more likely it's a disc problem causing everything. Sign number three, no pain at or above the location of the SI joint itself. If you don't have pain on the SI joint, then the confidence drops even further if it's an SI joint problem. Why? Most people, this is a pretty classic sign, will point directly to an area over top of their SI joint. If you've ever turned around, you might be able to look in the mirror and see that there's a little bit of a dimple in the area of the SI joint, and we call this a Fortin finger sign or test because this is where people point typically when they have an SI joint problem. And if you're not pointing to this location, you don't have pain here, then the probability goes down. Sign number four, symptoms that travel below the level of the knee. So if you have symptoms in your calf or your shin or your ankle or your foot or your toes, then chances are it's not an SI joint problem and the confidence drops even further. Research shows that people who responded positively to, meaning they got relief from a diagnostic injection to the SI joint, did not report symptoms or very rarely reported symptoms below the level of the knee into the foot. You can see the area shaded in gray. Most of it is above the level of the knee, and a lot of it is heavy in the buttock region. So if you have symptoms below the level of the knee, chances are lower that you have an SI joint problem. Sign number five, if you describe your symptoms as numbness, tingling, burning, shooting, or electric, then these are typically associated with nerve problems, not joint problems. And remember, the SI joint is a joint, not a nerve. So if this is how you're describing your symptoms, then the confidence drops even further. Sign number six, if you have symptoms on both sides of the body or in both buttocks, then this drops the confidence. Why? Because research shows that SI joint problems typically present with unilateral or one-sided symptoms without lower back pain. Sign number seven, if you have a pain-free, what we call rotation extension or extension rotation test. So here's how you're going to perform this test to see if it reproduces your symptoms. If your symptoms are on the left, you're going to perform this test back into the left. If your symptoms are on the right buttock, you'll perform it back into the right. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to stand with your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to fully twist your trunk to whichever side you have symptoms, and then bend straight backwards. And if this is pain-free, then the probability again drops because we know that during this test, we tend to load the lower joints of the spine and the SI joint as well. Sign number eight, if it's painful to perform this test, which we call the slump test, a test to detect nerve sensitivity, then the probability drops. You have an SI joint problem. Remember, we're dealing with a joint, not a nerve, when we talk about the SI joint. So in order to perform this test, you're going to sit, you're going to slouch, you're going to gently bring your chin to your chest, you're going to, before you straighten the leg, pull your toes up towards your nose and then extend your knee gently. So you're not moving the SI joint at all. All you're doing is placing tension upon the nerves of your spinal cord and the nerves that go down the leg, the sciatic nerve in this case. And if this increases the symptoms in your butt or your leg, then this points towards it being more of a nerve problem than an SI joint issue. Sign number 9, if you have a pain-free, what we call Faber test, a flexion, abduction, external rotation test of the leg, then this further reduces the confidence that you have an SI joint problem. Here's how you perform it so that you can try it at home. Take the leg of the painful side. So in this case, imagine that the pain is on my right side. I'm not standing up, I'm laying down. This is an overhead view. And you're going to place it in a figure 4 position. And you're going to just monitor that as you perform this test, the pelvis doesn't rock too much. So place your hand on the belt line of the opposite side. And then if your arms are long like me, you can go ahead and just place gentle pressure as if you're trying to push your knee towards the floor, or maybe have somebody else do it for you gently. And if this does not reproduce the symptoms in your buttock, then it is a pain-free or a negative test. And again, the confidence goes down. Now, that being said, there's a disclaimer here. Almost no clinical tests we perform should be taken in isolation, which is why we look at many different signs to try to diagnose or get closer to the truth of what is causing someone's pain. And so research shows that this test, the Faber test, when combined with some other tests, what we call a thigh thrust test, can't be performed DIY, which is why I don't have it here, increases the probability of an SI joint problem. So these tests are important in clusters, not just individually per se. Now, one of my mentors, Mark Laslett, a pioneer of SI joint research, has published many different articles as well. And he's come up with a tried and true and tested way or cluster of tests, movement tests that can be performed not by you, but by others to determine if the SI joint is a likely source of symptoms. Here are the 5 different tests. Again, there is the thigh thrust test. Now, in all fairness, notice that the Faber test didn't make it into this cluster, all right? And what we found is of those 5 tests, if 3 or more of them were painful, meaning reproduced your pain in the SI joint or the butt, then this significantly increased the probability or the confidence that the SI joint is the cause of your symptoms. Again, these are tests that need to be performed by someone in person. And finally, sign number 10. If you do not have pain with transitions, getting up from a seated position, getting out of the car, getting off the bed first thing in the morning, for example, then the probability goes even lower that you have an SI joint problem causing your pain. Why? Consider the SI joint is a stress relieving joint, and it has to accept forces or deal with forces from below when we put weight on our leg, and or from above when we're bending, lifting, or twisting. And transitions involve both of those things at once. And you can see here, again, Mark Laslett, pain when rising from sitting is very common with SI joint problems. So again, if you don't have this, then we can be less confident that an SI joint is the cause of your symptoms. So now we've gone through these 10 signs one by one, and are you still feeling highly confident that the SI joint is the cause of your symptoms? Or are you starting to question it? Or maybe you're completely reevaluating what could be going on given what we've shared. At the end of the day, realize there are many other things that could be causing a pain in the back, butt, or leg. Many of them are more likely than the SI joint itself. Many times, discs or joints, degenerative joints in the lower back, refer pain to the butt and get misdiagnosed as an SI joint problem, but the problem is really upstream, causing symptoms in the SI joint region. Or the hip joint, piriformis syndrome, deep gluteal syndrome, or even hamstring problems can cause symptoms in these areas and make things confusing. So if you want to dive deeper into the other causes of buttock pain to figure out the most likely source of your symptoms, be sure to check out this other diagnostic video.